Okay, listen up, grade 10. There's something, last thing about the test, because we need to start with this, because this is rather important. Last thing about the test. When we start doing exam prep, so in exam times, we're going to see each other a lot, like a lot, many hours. And the main thing is, I just spoke to someone today who wrote matric last year, and he wants to improve his marks this year because he didn't get in for whatever course. The big thing when we get to test writing is when it comes to marks or getting in for engineering or whatever, no one actually cares how smart you are. No one actually cares, are you good at analytical thinking? All they care about is what stands on the paper, what it says on your report card. So when it comes to exams, we do a lot of training because it doesn't just help to be smart. We need to know what can we expect in the test. How do we manage our time? How do we approach a certain question paper? Which questions do we leave for later? Which do we do now? So we do a lot of training to make you look as good as you actually are. Okay? Because a lot of times I know my potential is a 90, whatever. But when I write the test, I get a 75 and I don't know why. And I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that. So when it comes to, yes, sir, I didn't finish the test. I got caught up on a question. We're going to work through all of those. For now, on Monday, we did factorization of, yes, Anna, of, do you want to work, sorry? All right. On Monday, we looked at factorization of advanced trinomials. And today we're going to look at advanced factorization in general. Now, when I say, bless you, when I say advanced factorization, quickly run me through grade 9, which different types of factorization did you learn? Anyone? Anna? Which one? Difference of squares? We did grouping. Okay. When did we use difference of squares? Kanan? When?
Last year.
Thank you. When do we use grouping?
Last year.
No. When do we use grouping? If I see a 4 term and I can't simplify, most of the times I use grouping. When do I use difference of squares? Well, when I have one square minus another complete square. Yes. What else do we have? What was the first type? Highest common factor. Oh, highest common factor, always. Okay, what do we learn other than those? Trinomials was a big one. Trinomials we're still busy with. They get quite difficult. Okay. Yes. Anything else? What about a common bracket? Yeah. Factorizing out a common bracket. When we did factorizing a common bracket, we also learned how to change the sign. Sign changing. Okay? We did a lot of those. Now, in grade 10, I'm not going to teach, your teacher is not going to teach you this again.
So we just did it today.
Did they explain everything again? Yes. Or did they just revise it quickly?
So, so we like to redo everything.
But I'm sure you're reading everything in 1 or 2 days. I mean, it's not taking 3 weeks like it did last
year. No, it's like 1 or 2. It takes 2 days.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not actually explaining like what you did last time.
It's just like going through it so that everyone understands.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. Lovely breaking. All right, so here we go. This is factorization. It's all mixed up. I can actually, what I want to do today is I just want to say, there you go, 20 questions. Each of you do all 20 questions. Tell me where you get stuck. I'll help you on the board. If you're done, you're done. You can go home. Okay, but the idea is not to go home as soon as you can. The idea is to walk out here and say, I know that I'm 100% with all the types of factorization. Don't leave because you want to leave. Leave because you know there's nothing else you want to ask you. Okay, so we're going to jump in. Let's do them in chronological order. So start from 1. I'm going to start and do 1 on the board. As soon as you get stuck, you can look up. You can see where I'm going. And you can ask me.
So, when was you write this?
Sorry? The ideal situation, so what I tell all your mothers when you're drawing, is please bring a folio book, please bring an empty whatever. Bring a math book, I don't care. But it's always good to have extra, you can go. All right, I'll give you a 3-minute head start, and then I'm starting to catch up.
So it's not course or so it's not money.
No, it's not a race. It's not a race.
That's always a race thing. Yeah,
There's only one race.
so what's that?
The human race.
So,
Anti-racism slogan.
oh,
Is it pink? I don't think pink. He has no name, bro. Oh, he does. No, it doesn't.
Well, Mirko took away any excuse you have because he said that you're doing this in class at the moment.
Our
Yeah,
teacher,
Oh, yes.
Monday, he was on 1.9 and 1.9 was for the investigation. He's
Okay.
extremely behind.
Maybe you got sunburn.
Actually, sir, it's called Marcus. So, yeah.
There's one.
It's Marcus.
Then next season not plus the rate and time.
Right, that makes sense.
Actually, only because of that.
Yeah, he's the only one that asked questions.
Oh,
Like,
you.
can
That
react
ends is stupid, bro.
No, please.
I suppose it's supposed to make a sheet joining here.
to one.
Especially now. Please don't let it ruin them.
No,
It's funny in class, but I wouldn't want to hear my issue to
just on the notes of Taylor's question, when you factorize, it's very, very different than when they say simplify. Okay, when I factorize, I leave it into brackets. When I simplify, I'm gonna do FOIL. Please don't do FOIL here. Okay, that's the exact opposite of what we want. We want to end with one term. If I have one term, I know that I am factorized. One term.
Yes, we're going to try calm down.
So she told us she's allergic to bacon and then she ate our thing with bacon inside of it.
I don't think she's allergic. I think maybe she's just
No, sir, I'm allergic. Don't worry,
okay.
I'm allergic.
So
You're
that's
gonna
why
die.
we concerned. We told her there's bacon in it.
And I can't take
It's
it.
it back.
And not breathe my fingers.
Oh.
See, that's what they look like now. Tomorrow they might.
Tomorrow, why is it only happening?
Lads, I mean, I thought with Zach not being here that would solve some of the concentration problems. Okay, so let's try and do this. Yes, that
I'm gonna do number one.
okay.
Just, but if it's a sign change.
Well, let me do 2. I'm going to start with number 2. If any of you are there yet, you're more than welcome to do it with me.
Oh, you take out the.
All right, first of all, yes, Taylor, the brackets aren't the same. They're almost the same, but because they have a minus inside, I'm not allowed to just change it around. So what I'll do,
But the Q and the 3P with the 25.
so what I do is I always leave the first bracket as is. I'm going to change that sign, and that will then change those two's order. Okay. So I change this sign to positive, and then the order changes in here. Can I quickly just, great things, quickly just drop your pen, just for a second. Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. I just want to show you something real quick. Right, it's with a sign change. If I have a bracket like this, let's say 4x plus 2. What happens, Anna, when I do a sign change? Stay like, just look here, quick, please. I might just teach you something. What happens when I do sign change? I don't actually just, well, let me just change that to negative. I don't change the order of things. Not really. What happens when I change the sign before the bracket? When I change the sign before the bracket, what happens with that negative? It goes inside the bracket. So when I change the sign before the bracket, all the signs inside the bracket change. So this is actually then negative 4x and positive 2. And because the signs inside the bracket change, I can write that as positive 2 minus 4x. Because actually the order didn't change, the sign just changed. And now I can write it the other way around. That's what actually happens with the sign change. When I change the sign before the bracket, all the signs inside the bracket change. Right, just for interest's sake, maybe you're here not just to score marks, but to understand. Scoring marks is always a good side effect of understanding. Of course.
So fun.
I miss this fun.
Oh, yeah, he has that's not how far it is only.
Oh, we
Okay,
did.
so like-
I'm not that ahead.
Christopher, you started this now. Can we please just continue with it? Yes, but you know this ADHD is gonna act up.
Wow.
I was saying. All right. Let's go. Okay, number 3, you're done. Number 4, you're supposed to be at least at number 4 by now. With number 3.
I need help with 3.
Okay, I'm gonna do 3 and then I'll immediately move on to 4. So with 3, what I see is the difference of squares. Dots. So I know this is gonna happen. And it'll be 2a and b, 2a and b, with a positive bracket and a negative bracket. Yeah.
100% so.
With all of these numbers, we do get lazy if the question is easy, but the first step should always be to look for a common factor. Always. Even if it's difference of squares, I should always look for a common factor first. Number 4, this one's for Hannah.
So you hear it up.
I know this one is difference of squares as well, because 1/4 is a complete square, and 25 is a complete square, and x to the power 6 is a complete square. So what is the square root of 1/4? We are quite dependent on our calculators, but it is a half. A half times a half is a quarter. And then I will have plus 5x to the power 3 and minus 5x to the power of 3. Pleasure. Oh, sorry. I, for some strange reason, didn't do number 2. I just stopped.
You did 3.
I didn't do.
You did.
I started to.
Oh, you didn't.
Okay. I'll just complete 2 here. If I take out the brackets,
Oh,
okay, that'll be number 2's final answer. Like I said, a good test for factorization to see if you factorize completely is, am I left with one term? If my answer is one term, then I'm most probably done.
oh, that makes sense.
Okay, everyone can just make sure they mark 1 to 4. I can erase 1 to 4. Obviously, like always, the video will be up on Discord. So if you want to go look at it again, you're more than welcome.
Wait, so
Yeah,
never mind, I'm literally just.
can I delete it?
Yes. No.
Don't forget back.
Yes, please, sir.
There you go.
So,
Let me see.
like your little trackpad.
Thank you. It's the same brand that the banks use when they say time.
Yeah, my grandma did that. She couldn't figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they're quite the industry leader.
What's the brand?
Wacom.
I've heard of that.
I have worked on an iPad, and then you can obviously look here, but I mean this is way cheaper. You have to practice that. It is like when I draw shapes, you can see I'm way offline. I don't get a shape. But it has a school function where whatever I draw, if I want to draw a circle, if I hold it in, it just completes a circle. It's too perfect. Yeah. Exactly.
How long do you think you get able to do that?
Kanan, to be honest with you, I did a lot of while I was teaching in Victoria, I did a lot of extra classes online, like Zoom, and I used one of these. So I did practice a lot there, but when I came to Kira, this was the first time that I would teach like this and this. Because usually I had
You teach in what year?
sorry?
You teach in what year?
I was in Victoria up until December.
Oh, damn.
But so do you work for Kira or is this Kira just like contracted?
So, you
No, we lived in Dublin for the last 10 years. I didn't live in yeah.
Wow, it's a new.
All right. Question number 5.
just.
Sorry, Hannah? Yeah. 16 p squared minus 4q squared. Now, here we make a mistake a lot of times. I'll do it both ways because I want to show you how we can fix the mistake we initially make it. So initially, a lot of us just want to say, hey, this is the difference of 2 squares. Yes, it is. And then I can do brackets. I'll say 4p minus 2q and 4p plus 2q. Okay? Who got till that point and said, yes, I'm amazing, this is the end? This is not the end. Why is it not the end?
I did that.
I have a common factor in both of these brackets. So the common factor is a 2 in each of the brackets. Now, if I take out the 2 in the first bracket, then I'll be left with 2p minus q. And I'll take out the 2 in the second bracket, and I'll be left with 2p plus q. Hold on 1 second. But I can't write it like this. This looks insane. The 2 here and the 2 here, I have to move to the one side. And what happens to the 2 of them? They multiply, and then I'll be left with 2p minus q and 2p plus q. How can I prevent this disaster from the start?
I think we are first.
By starting with step 1, which should always be step 1. Take out a common factor. If I start by taking out a common factor, then the question will look like this. And just give me some space here. Okay, the question will look like this. And then I can factorize this difference of squares. Okay. Okay, so Taylor, you wanted to ask me something.
I think so.
Kindness is not just from super.
I didn't think council.
No, but like from the beginning.
I just explained this, but you need to listen. So I said this is actually a disaster because I messed it up. I missed the first step. Or I can do the correct way. I can from the start say we have a common factor, and then I have this bracket, and then this bracket will be factorized. So this is the way I want you to do it. Always first look for a common factor. Because the reason that I did this was just to say, I know a lot of you did this. I know lots of times we start and we say, oh, difference of squares, but we don't actually look for a common factor. You can do this and still get to the answer. You can. It's just a longer route. So yeah, what you did, 100% don't do anything different. Yes.
You skipped to number 7, dude.
Can I skip to number 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's not skip. I'm going to do 6 and then 7.
That's what he's.
Okay. So number 6 looks like this.
Yes. Oh.
All right. Number 6 looks like this. This is definitely the difference of 2 squares. But to start with, do you see any common factors?
No.
I do not either. So then I can just do 7bc plus 5a and 7bc minus 5a. That was nice and easy. Number 6. So number 7 would then look like this. Where's 7? Is it x squared minus 11x plus 28? That one. What's that? That one. Okay, well, I'm doing this one for you. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and see What factors of 28? I know the first one, x times x is x squared. That's easy. What factors of 28, when I add and subtract them, can give me 11? 4 and 7 can work. 4 and 7. If I have a negative and a negative, that'll adhere to all my rules. If I test this, x times x is x squared. Yes. The last terms, negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. Fantastic. And the middle terms, I would have negative 7x minus 4x. And negative 7x minus 4x is minus 11x. So all my terms work out. This is great news. I strongly advise this to everyone, and I know you'll just ignore me, but please test your answer. It doesn't take a lot of time. Test your answer to see, did I make a sign error? We saw on Monday that we are very prone to making error with a negative sign. All right, that was number 7. Let's do number 8.
So I'm not done.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. Let me just give you a head start. Number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9. That's interesting. You're doing better today, huh? Tired and rest. That's what I said. If you want to eat enough, you rest enough.
I have not anything about like 6 and 12 instead.
You can always do number 8. The number 8 so
Up to what point here?
so I want to say them.
Okay, so when we write a test and we get stuck on number 8, what do we do?
Try.
No. Number 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's so real.
Come on, lads. Show me what you got, Chris. Actually crying.
You know, I didn't even understand it. Last year in the exam, I didn't understand it, but now I kind of do.
No.
It took me like a half a year of not thinking about it.
Were you better last year?
Worse.
Worse.
And I haven't gone through this like all this.
Well, it's right. Two things happen. The one is we mature, and actually our brains are still busy maturing. So you do get smarter just by getting older. And the other thing is, I think as soon as we step back, sometimes if we don't get too like involved, then we see the bigger picture.
You know, I was younger, so I was and I went way back to the years, and you supposed to tackle burgers. I went on holiday. I didn't touch it for like 6 months. So I came back like burgers.
Good, mate.
I was so good. Like literally, so my uncle one day, he bought me a burger stick for my birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't use this.
That's a truly inspiring story. I think we can all learn from this.
Everything for now, okay?
Yes, and
I'm also trying to do number 10. So trinomials.
I came
We
back.
just like over trinomials.
Yes, on Monday. Videos on unless you just do the video for you.
Oh, really?
I promise you, everyone will there. So please watch that. The worksheet's on there.
Right.
It was just trinomials, so you'll definitely get something out of it. Check out Gilman.
Oh.
Durham. Is it Gilman?
They're
Durham.
Silver.
Gilman.
So,
Say that. Yeah, you don't know.
So I don't know how to do it.
Okay, then we start with number 8.
Or number 9.
That's fine, that's fine. No need to freak out. 24. Hopefully when I do number 8, you'll say, okay, I see what happened. I'll now try number 9. So it looks like this. We're gonna make a proper effort to do this the right way. For the first term, I have some options. For 24, I can say 1x times 24x. That's one option. Give me another option. 2x times 12x. Yes, that's 3 going to that. Yes, 3x times 8x. 4x times 6x.
Why didn't you?
What do we do?
Okay, if you give me your full attention, let's all do it together.
Are we doing 24x squared?
We're trying to get 24x squared factors. 24x squared factors. We're done. Oh, it's on the
Oh, it's the scientific data.
Okay. So here are all the options. All the options are here. Let me just move these a little bit down so we have some space to write underneath them. Right? Now we're going to look at the last terms options for y squared. What are the options? 1y times 1y. Yes. That's my only option. Okay, so let me do that option underneath all of these. And we're going to see if we can find a combination that works.
I see it.
I hope that we all see it in 2 minutes. So now, to look for a combination that works, I want to get a middle term of 10xy negative. I can multiply, I can either go straight down and straight down. If I do straight down, that gives me 1xy and 24xy. Can 1xy and 24xy give me 10?
No.
No. Okay, if I go across, that doesn't make any difference with that particular example. Let's do the other one. If I look at this, I get 2xy and times here, I get 12xy. Can 2xy and 12xy give me a 10?
Yes.
It can. Okay, this one will.
-2.
But let's not get blind when you see the first possible lady we'd want to marry, because there might be another option. Maybe if I look over here, I see, oh, this gives me 4xy and 6xy.
Positive.
Can 4xy and 6xy give me a 10?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this one won't work. This one won't work. Two possible options I get when I look at this example and this example. One of them won't work. I promise you that. It's all going to come down to the signs. Now, let's try and not just guess. Let's try and analyze this. My last term is a negative. Negative. What does that mean for my brackets, the signs? The signs will have to be different signs. Okay? Because the signs are going to be different signs. Okay, just give me a second. That's fine. I've got it here. So let me not say anything. Let me just stay quiet. Because I'll say something silly.
So what do you want to say?
I just want things to work, okay? Especially if you pay.
But you pay for the check. I don't. Come on.
Yeah. No, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Let's not get frustrated. Okay, the projector's gonna go on now.
You want to like. So what would you want to do to this projector?
Okay.
Basically, just said I can open my Valentine's note from Megan. And the discount for Valentine's Day on 3 eats. Wow, Megan must love you. Oh no, sorry.
Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Megan might the owner or something. That was the email for it. And then file this evening.
Right, if you can, just try and refocus up. Here we go. So we said that, yes, because, focus, because the last term was negative, I know the signs will have to be different. Okay, because the signs have to be different, if I use 4xy and 6xy, how do I get to a negative 10? It has to be negative 4xy minus 6xy. That's the only way to get to negative 10. Can I have two signs that are the same? Would this one work? Nope, this one would not work. So I don't have to shove it in the brackets, then test it, then see how this doesn't work. I can actually just analyze it. When I look at the top one, how do I use 2xy and 12xy to get negative 10xy? Plus 2xy minus 12xy. That will be my option. I want to get to that. How do I do it? Well, first of all, I know my combination should be 2x and 12x. I know I'm going to have 1y and 1y, and I want negative 12xy. Where's the negative one? Well, negative 12xy, so this bracket has to get the negative, and positive, what was that? What does this say? Oh, that's a y, sorry. And positive 2xy. So if I test this, I'll get negative 12xy, positive 2xy, and that'll give me a middle term of negative 10xy. Fantastic. I get a mark for that bracket, a mark for that bracket. This, yeah. Okay, because let me erase this and we'll do that test again. Remember, when I do FOIL, now I'm not going to do FOIL now. FOIL is the exact opposite of factorizing. But if I did FOIL, I would multiply 2x with this term. And that needs to be what? Positive 2xy. So to get positive 2xy, grab a seat, I'll be right with you. I have to say positive 2x times positive y. And to get negative 12x, I'm going to say negative y times positive 12x. That's why this term gets a negative, because I know this is going to multiply with the 12. Okay, it does take some getting used to. And then I would get negative 12xy and positive 2xy. All right, glad. Well, it's fun. What I would say to both of you is, first of all, I appreciate that you here. Second of all, the video is going to go up on Discord, because obviously you missed 45 minutes of it. Yeah. So I would strongly advise just going to check that out. Right, that was question number 8. Everyone all right with 8? If you get 8, I promise you're going to get most of it. If you can do 8, you can do most of it. But you're struggling with 8. That's fine. I mean, the grade 11 still struggle with 8. Some of them fixed as well.
I'm not be one of those.
That's not.
Obviously, you know, if you say it, then
Yeah.
I was really mean what you say, you know.
yeah.
I've never heard that say.
All what you eat.
How much details? All right.
You not heard that too. You all what you eat. You need something you always eat.
Great stuff. I'm going to look at 9. If you're doing 9, you can do it with me. Right, 9's not that bad of a trinomial as long, because I have prime numbers like 2, which it doesn't have any options, and 3 and 1. We can test this real quick to see if this might work. I know this will work, and the reason is because the last term is negative. I know my brackets are going to have different signs. So I know that the two factors aren't going to add together. They're going to subtract from each other. So if I get something like a negative 6x, and I get a positive 1x, positive 1x minus 6x does give me the middle term of negative 5x. And yes, I would get the first term and I would get the last term. The more you do this, this really becomes sort of like second nature. You tend to get it right. The problem with a question like this is it doesn't give you a massive payout on the marks end. You really get 1 or 2 marks max. Okay, so you don't want to spend 5 minutes on this question. You want to do 2 minutes, move on. But yeah, that's number 9. Any questions there? I'll keep it there. But like I said, it will also be on the video, so you can always go back and look at it, whatever one you want. Okay, this one's going to be a bit of a pickle again because of the different options. More than welcome. More than welcome. Can I continue with this question? Okay. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do it the proper way, and hopefully you see what I do and you see what I keep doing and you start imitating me and it all becomes clear. For 18, I have different factors. I can say 1x times 18x. I can say 2x times 9x. I can say 3x times 6x. And I think that's it. For 10, I have different options as well. For 10, well, let's keep it red. I can say 1 times 10. I'm going to write that option for every one of these. No, no. So if one of these options doesn't pan out, if one of them don't pan out, then I'll do 2 and 5 and try it. But first of all, let's just test this to see. Do one of these options maybe give me a 3? Let me try and cross multiply there. 18 times 1 would give 18x. Well, let me do this in a different color because that's getting confusing. Let's go blue. Right, if I cross multiply, I would get 18x and 10x. Could 18x and 10x give me a 3x? No. Okay, maybe if I go there, I would get 9x and 20x. Does that work? No. I mean, if I didn't go across, if I went straight down, this would be even worse. I would have 90x and 2x. That wouldn't work either. Okay, so this option is exhausted. It wouldn't work. This one, let's see, maybe if I had 6x and 30x, would that work? No, not one of these options are working. That's fine. Who's panicking? So what we're doing is we're going to say, let's rewrite the options for 18. 1x and 18x. 2x and 9x. 3x and 6x. And now I have what Taylor said. I have the option 2 times 5 also gives me 10. So that's also an option. 2 times 5. 2 times 5. Let's test them to see if one of them works. Okay, I might have, well, I'm going to veto this one real quick because that would be 36 and 5, not going to work. This one would be 18 and 10. That's close, but it wouldn't work. If I go straight down, it would be worse. I would get 45 and 4. The last one, let's see. If we go straight down, that would be 6 and 30. That's not going to work, but 12x and 15x, that one will work. Now, like I said, I will just say it again, and it's sort of meant to be encouraging. Later on, you're not going to do all of this. Later on, you're going to do it in your head and say, oh, well, 3, 6, and 2, 5 would work. Okay, but that only comes with a lot of practice. Let's use this combination. So first of all, in our brackets, we at least know the factors that we want to use. We want to use 3x, and it combines with 5. And we want, sorry, not there. 3x combines with 5. And we want to use 6x, and it combines with 2. So 6x combines with 2, and 3x combines with 5. I want to figure out the sign though. So for the sign, I say, because my last term is negative, what do I know about the signs? I don't know why I'm messing this bracket up. Apologies for that. 6x and 2. Sorry, 6x and 2. Sorry for that. Because I want the 3x to multiply with 6x as well. I can't have them in the same bracket. Yeah, so it's always x and a constant. Okay, anyway, so I know I have different signs. And I want a negative 3x. How do I use 12x and 15x to get negative 3x? Negative 3x. I would have to have a positive 12x and a negative 15. A positive 12x, so positive 2 times 6x, and 3x times negative 5. This would give me positive 12x and negative 15x. That would solve the middle term debacle. Honestly, I'm not glazing you or anything, but this is one of the most difficult things to get in grade 10. Every year when I do this with the grade 10, it's difficult to explain and it's difficult to get, but the only way to do it is you have to do 20 of them, 40 of them, 60 of them. Then you're going to say, okay, I think I'm getting it now.
What's it for?
What is it for? This is trinomial, factorizing trinomial. Or you can even say with these, you can say factorizing advanced trinomials. But yeah, it's just factorizing. Don't hate them. Don't hate them. I think, like a lot of things.
Exactly. What? I'm just in the whole world. Any job. What would we do something like this for? Like
The cool thing.
Well, if we
Okay. Let me say 2 minutes and answer your question. But you have to be open for the answer. Okay, the first thing is what we're doing here actually is not just random algebra. Hold on. Please guys, come on man. I mean literally I'm not here to babysit you. Anyways, well we're not doing just algebra. What we're doing here is actually functions. So this is not just the random expression, this is the parabola. And what we just calculated there is we want to know where does this parabola intersect the x-axis. So that's what we're actually doing. But there's a reason that I'm not starting with that, because I mean, look at your faces right now. So we start with something easy, and then later on when we do functions, I'm going to say, remember when we did advanced trinomials? This is it. Okay, so just in a mathematical world, that's where this is going. That's why we're doing this, because we want to get to something.
But then what the thing? What you do? That's like what.
So we do actually do some interesting what do you call it? I will say applied mathematics, maybe. No, applied, like literally applied. In school, on school level as well. So we would look at something like I would give you a problem where we have a certain amount of materials and we want to create an item, but we want to do it in the most effective way. So I'll ask you, what would be the best design to use this amount of materials with the least amount of wastage? Then the answer looks something like this, where we have a parabola, we want to find out the two critical points, and we do trinomial factorization. It does, there are real world applications. Yes, the computers do most of it. But for me to be good at my job, I need to understand what am I asking of the computer. I can't just, I can't be a button pusher. So
why don't we just understand not
yeah, so I do get it. We do get frustrated. We ask ourselves why we're doing this. But if we push through, we're going to see in our fourth year in university, we're going to see, hey, I see why I had to start this in 2025. Yes. Okay, we still have time for another one. That was number 10. Let's look at number 11. Can I erase number 8? Does anyone still busy here? All right. So number 11 looks like this.
Have we done? Have we done?
We have done a four term, and actually we know it very well. When we see a four term, Mirko said earlier today, then we usually use what type of factorization? Grouping. With this one, it looks quite obvious which groups would work. With any four term like this, there are always two options that will work and one option that won't work. Let's try the obvious one. Let's try to group the first two terms. What common factor can I take out? The highest common factor. It's 2x can get factorized to be left with 2x minus 3. Now, hopefully, when we factorize the next few, we get a similar bracket. Let's see. What's going to factorize here? There is a y, but I'm going to factorize something more. I'm going to factorize a negative y. I'll show you now. Because then I'm left with positive y minus 3. And I was hoping that this bracket would, these brackets would look the same. Do they? No. Am I going to panic? Am I going to start sweating and start thinking I'm wasting my parents' money?
Yes.
No. I say, okay, let's reshuffle them. Let's try the two squares together. And then I'll try the 6x and the 3y together. I mean, let's just try it.
Try.
With the first two, those are difference of squares. I'll be left with 2x minus y and 2x plus y. And what's going to factorize? Think about the previous one. What can I factorize? I'm going to factorize a negative 3. And I'll be left with positive 2x minus y. Why is this amazing news? Because this bracket and this bracket is identical, and I can factorize out that bracket.
Negative.
Which one? This one.
Yeah.
Because what did I factorize out? What did I factorize out? Did I factorize out just the 3? Or did I factorize out the negative 3? Why did I factorize out negative 3 is what Taylor asked me. Because I want this bracket to have a negative there. That's why. If I factorize out that bracket, what is left in this first term if I factorize out this bracket? The only thing that is left is 2x plus y. And what is left in this term if I factorize out the bracket? Negative 3. And that's my lovely grade 10. Is a one-term answer. When I get one term, I know I factorized fully. If you look at this and you say, why is this so difficult? Well, look at the top of the paper. It said advanced factorization. Does that mean that this is grade 11 level? Not at all. This is what you need to do this year. Okay?
At the end of the year.
Please don't, whatever you do, please don't feel discouraged. Okay? You're gonna have to practice a lot and you'll get better and better and better. Taylor? Taylor? Please just keep on going at it. Okay? We need you positive. Bye-bye, you guys. Have a great day. When you come back next week, you can bring this with. We can look at some of them if we have some extra time.
Yeah. Answers, sir. You can answer see, sir? From a charity.
Okay.
I don't know what the charity is called, sir.
But it's the breast cancer charity school.
Textile that has been made by men.
Yeah. Actually founded and raised by two people.
It's a lie.
Yes, okay. It's on the website. Check.
Yeah.
But